You want to hear something stupid? Of course you do. You're still here. A year ago, there was a stock, 49 cents. You don't buy that. You find that maybe under the couch, next to a dead battery and half a cough drop. But today, it's 13 bucks and the company is worth $2 billion. And you know what it makes? Nothing. No mine, no metal, no money, a hole in the ground in Australia, and a guy who learned a magic word. It's got a name too. Sunrise Energy Metals, Australia. Ticker SRL down there, SREMF over here for us. And it used to be called something else. Of course it did. A dead battery tech company nobody wanted. Clean tech. Okay, TEQ. That's the show, folks. Welcome to Capital Mischief. I'm Charlie Garcia. So the brokers out there are screaming buy. I read the fine print so you don't lose your shirt. And this one is a beauty. So here's the first lie. They're all yelling 30 times your money, 30 bagger. And it's true. It went up 30 times from 43 cents. So you start at the bottom of a well, every direction is up. This year, the year you actually live in, 2026, it doubled. That's it. The other 28 times your money is just a story about how dead the thing was. A corpse coming back to life isn't a miracle. It's just a corpse that used to be a lot cheaper. So write that down. And get this. Half the big green up days, nobody was even trading it. Okay. It's a couple guys in an empty room shoving the price around. There's a service that rates these things. They stuck the stock in that category. You know what they called it? A momentum trap. They printed it right on the label and people bought it anyways because nobody reads the label. Okay. The metal. That's part is real, so wake up. It's called scandium. All right? Don't worry about saying it. Nobody can. The whole planet makes about 50 tons of it a year. The whole planet. You could fit the entire world supply in a couple of moving trucks with room left over for your stuff. You sprinkle in it aluminum. The aluminum gets lighter, tougher, easier to weld. Fighter jets want it. Your 5G wants it. And here's the part that runs the whole game. China's got 85% of the market cornered, all right? Last year, China got mad about tariffs and said, you want some? Get a license. Those rules never went away. So there's a truce sitting on top. And this truce dies November 10th. Remember that date. It's a clock. Everything in this story ticks off of that Chinese clock. You want to know what happens when China turns the tap? Look at the cousin metal. Got caught in the same net. American imports went from 300 tons to 17. The price went up thousands of percent. That's it. That's the whole reason anybody cares about a sheep farm in Australia. One country, one tap. That part's not a joke. The only honest thing in the entire story is that, okay? And you're already paying for this in your pocket right now. Last week, the Apple guy, Tim Cook, 40 years in the business, a calm man, goes to Wall Street Journal and says price hikes are unavoidable. Says the memory market is unsustainable, all right? That's a 100-year flood. When the calmest man in technology in Silicon Valley starts talking like a weatherman before a hurricane, you better listen. Memory chips cost Apple 4 times what they did a year ago. Why? AI. Every data center on Earth eating memory like a fat guy at a buffet. And the smart materials that might fix it someday, chips that remember stuff when the power's off, chips that do the math inside the memory, guess what they run on? Go ahead, guess. Scandium. Now, here's where it gets good. Here's the trick. This little mining company takes $5 million and buys a piece of a chip startup called Agni Semiconductor. And the stock market threw a party, added hundreds of millions in value, confetti, balloons, the whole thing. $5 million. And you know what that $5 million actually bought? Half of a tiny little funding round, 17% of a startup no one's ever heard of, a company with a website you could read, well, while you sneeze. A $2 billion miner bought a sixth of a science project, and Wall Street acted like it merged with Apple, all right? And they got a word for it. They always got a word. You know what they call it when a company invents its own customer? Vertical integration. Whoopee, vertical integration. That's a fancy suit on a simple little con. They couldn't find anybody to buy the rock, so now they're going to buy it from themselves. That's not a strategy. That's a guy talking to himself in a parking lot, but it rhymes with strategy, so the stock rockets up. Now, to be fair, and I hate being fair, the science is real. It actually is. This stuff holds data with no power. It works at 600 degrees. 600. A normal chip dies at 200 degrees. Lies, write down, okay? This thing keeps thinking while it's on fire. Now, that's genuinely amazing. There's just one little thing. They proved it on a chip that holds 2 kilobytes. 2, all right? The memory that they want to replace holds billions of times that. So yeah, they got a little magic acorn and about 400 years to grow the forest, all right? So here's your money's worth. 4 ways this fairy tale ends. Number 1, the mine is small, 60 tons a year for 32 years. That's it. A nice little business in a $2 billion costume. Number 2, and this one's beautiful, the whole world uses 50 tons a year. This one mine plans to make 60. Read that again. The thing that makes it valuable is that there's almost none of it. And the plan is to make a ton of it. So you flood the market with something. The price has feelings about that. Number 3, the whole spreadsheet only works at a very high price, $1,500 a kilo, okay? Cost them $500. Beautiful margin, right up until the real metal hits a tiny market, and that price gets a haircut. Number 4, this is the kicker, $2 billion, no revenue, no product, okay? One analyst covering the whole thing for a mine that hasn't even gotten the green light and won't dig up a single gram of scandium until 2028. So you're not buying a company, you're buying a beautiful PowerPoint at full price. Now, the lawyer part, and I say it my way. I'm a writer, I got opinions, I'm not your financial advisor. You treat a stock like this, the way you treat a loaded gun nail. Point it away, finger off, respect. There, lawyers, are you happy? Good. Now, if you're going to own it small. This is a side bet, not the rent money. Small enough that if it drops 70%, and it can, it's a funny story at dinner, not a hole in your retirement. And here's the calmer way to play the exact same idea. The real bet isn't one company. Forget the company. The real bet is the West deciding, like it's wartime, to stop buying everything from China. You can own that without betting the farm on one sheep field, okay? There's a fund, ticker REMX, REMX. It holds the Western players in one click. Linus, NP Material, 2 catches. It still owns the big Chinese names too, so you're buying both teams, including the other team. And it's already up triple digits. Calmer than a lottery ticket isn't the same calm. Now, here's the whole thing in one line. Sunrise, SREMF, is a lotto ticket. The fund is the toll booth. And in every gold rush ever dug, the fortune doesn't go to the guy holding the pen. It goes to the guy selling shovels. And watch 4 things in order. 1, the final go-ahead on the mine is supposed to come this year. Till the board commits the cash, it's a drawing of a building, not a building. 2, a real contract. A big Lockheed deal everybody quotes, it's an option, not an order. There's a difference, and the difference is everything. 3, the government money. The Export-Import Bank wrote a letter of interest, $67 million. A level of interest is a wink, okay? A signed loan is a wedding. Watch which one shows up. 4, November 10th, the truce with the Chinese, the clock, okay? China squeezes harder, this thing flies again. China and America shake hands, and the air goes out of it like a slow tire. So you're not buying a mine, you're buying a bet on a calendar, and now you know the dates printed on it. And here's the part that gets me. The same AI that's quietly raising the price of the phone in your hand is the reason a sheep field in the middle of nowhere, Australia, is now national security. To 2 governments, think about that. The data centers need memory. The memory needs this metal. The metal's under some sheep farm that a broke little company spent 10 years failing to dig up. And then one day, China flicked a switch, and that sheep field was worth $2 billion. The supply chain is the story. The stock is just where you find out if you were early or just loud. Every dead man needs a grave. This one's was a stock split and 10 years of nothing. And here's the thing about coming back from the dead, folks. You only get to do it once. I'm Charlie Garcia. This is Capital Mischief. The exit is getting crowded, so don't be the last one clapping.